Hey John, what's going on tonight, man? What's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. I just want you to know though that I'm just so I'm crying over Dr. Quack. It's terrible.
Fauci.
It's just really awful. But we'll get into that. Welcome once again to another episode of Two Noobs Talking. With, of course, my buddy John Tracy. Back at home in Texas instead of being on the
In the
road.
studio.
In the studio. Well, kind of, sort of. In your own studio.
Yes. Yeah, we have two studios.
Exactly. I'm Matt Craig here in my own studio. Happy you're with us, and it's episode 36, John.
Right.
36.
We got your favorite running back of all time,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Westbrook.
Yeah.
We have my favorite hockey player of all time, Matthew Barnaby.
Mm.
Steve, I know you're going to be mad at that. So I'm gonna put that out there.
Just because he wasn't good, except for dropping his gloves, doesn't
Yes,
mean that,
yes.
exactly.
Well, he had teeth with the Buffaloes. He was great.
Yeah, exactly.
What a sportsman that dude is. I love him. And we just talked about this right before we came on the bus.
The bus, Jerome Bettis.
Bus, man. Jerome
One of my
Bettis.
first ever draft picks in the
Yes.
Torn ACL Fantasy Football League history.
He actually, Jerome Bettis coined my phrase. Everybody please use it when you're talking about running backs. Big booty running back. Me.
There you go. There you go.
You need a big booty running back. Jerome
You
Bettis
just call up Jerome Bettis.
got a big booty. So
That's right. You're not gonna stop him easily. That's for sure. We got another great show lined up. I mean, we did. It was interesting this week. This is now our second of really second
yeah.
of two episodes that we're doing just within this week. Just goes to show just how busy this week was in terms
Oh,
of
absolutely. There's tons
the
of
amount of
news.
media that was coming flying out and a lot of good talking points.
I like it, man. If it's gonna keep flying out like this, we're gonna keep recording.
We're
It's
going to do our best, yeah. And I think we're going to have a really good discussion, I think, in the meaty part of this
I think
episode
so.
with regards to critical race theory and racism and all that kind of stuff. But before we do that, John, as I shared with you, I was, crying.
You're sad. You're sad.
I am
I
truly sad
understand
over
you're
this
sad.
quack. It's been a rough go. It's not only that he's been sweating bullets, but he's just been so traumatized over all of this.
I know. It's so hard when you make more money than the president of the United
It
States.
really
It's really
is. It
hard.
really
I
is,
get it,
John.
Matt. You have my sympathy for him. You make more money. You make more than $400,000 a year to lie and cheat and steal.
Steel? Well,
So
we do know that Eddie Guerrero did that greatly back in the day, but I mean, this guy just can't seem to get. And, oh, by the way, he's also writing a book at the end of the year, John.
yeah, his last book was banned by Amazon, and Barnes and Noble.
Hmm. This one, I'm
So
sure, is going to be a hot seller. Anyway,
I can read it again.
Yeah. Anyway, Greg Jarrett wrote this piece. It's a Fox News
It's a great
opinion piece.
opinion piece.
It is. Dr. Anthony Fauci should be criminally investigated.
I agree.
I would agree with that too. Um, wow, even that. Look at that pop up. See, even you're being affected by Dr. Fauci.
Yeah,
See,
exactly. I mean, he's all over my computer.
it's
This
just terrible. A criminal investigation should be opened into whether Dr. Anthony Fauci lied to Congress when he denied that his agency helped fund dangerous experiments in a Wuhan laboratory.
yeah,
Well, isn't that interesting? I thought
yeah.
that was, debunked back
No,
during the election. Interesting.
nope.
That might have
Just covered
caused
up
COVID. So it might have caused the pandemic to happen. And anyway,
easily.
Fauci is a medical advisor to the president.
Yep.
Let me just
Now he used to
pause
be.
that for a minute. I wouldn't want him, if I'm the president of the United States, I wouldn't want him treating me. I'll tell you
No,
right
no,
now.
absolutely. But he was also the head of the NIH before he was the medical director. When he was under Trump, he was the head of the NIH.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Biden then moved him to the medical director, whatever the hell
Ugh.
that means. I don't even. But he makes more than Biden. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
I technically don't know what that means, but just to clear that up, like
Yeah.
we're talking about when he was the head of the NIH.
This of course, it's been no bones. We've documented this well throughout our
Mhm.
somewhat short history of Two Noobs with this guy's repeated back and forth
Mhm.
You can't follow him whatsoever. What's going on? Of course, like in the opinion piece here, he insisted repeatedly during
Which
his Senate,
I watched all of it. He absolutely did what this
yeah,
guy is
that the
saying.
roughly $600,000 in taxpayer money that the NIH funneled through a third party to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China was never used to support risky experiments called gain of function research to
Yes.
genetically enhance the pathogenic power of bat coronaviruses that infect humans. That's very interesting. I'd like to know exactly where that $600,000 went, John. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a ton of money for research. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like you don't really you can't get grants like that
Yeah.
as a normal citizen.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you get $100,000.
Yeah.
Most
Six. Yeah.
is 600 grand that's a ton for research.
Yeah.
When you're
That's
talking
half a million dollars. Yeah.
yeah, you're especially talking that it's going to China, which is a communist state.
Yeah. I would love to know exactly where that money went. If he's saying
And
it didn't
so
go
we
there,
know it's
where
the
did it
National
go?
Institute of Health is
Yeah.
paying China to do gain of function research. That's
Yeah. The NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute. He told a disbelieving, that's an understatement, disbelieving
crazy ass
Senator
Rand
Rand
Paul.
Paul of Kentucky.
Love Rand Paul. You're crazier than a fucking bedbug, man, but I love you.
I guarantee you, John,
You go for the truth, man.
if I guarantee you, if you have them locked in a hell in a cell, that's
Oh
an
yeah.
entertaining wrestling match, is it not?
I'd love this. I would pay forget Jake Paul and
Yeah.
Mayweather, man. I would pay pay-per-view money to
Mm.
see Rand Paul box Fauci. That would be great. Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Why can't we turn political into that?
Yeah.
I want to see crazy ass Rand Paul wildly swinging at that fucking dome of Fauci.
A steel
Fauci
chair at Fauci, yeah.
Don't hit me. Like it's great. Why
With his
wouldn't that
mask
be
on.
funny?
With his mask on.
How great would you'd pay $55 for that? I totally would.
I'd come over. I'd come over and watch that with you. Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, he's trying to save face, and he's
badly.
horribly, as
Badly.
we've well documented, and
Badly.
because when you lie through your teeth, you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You and I, John, of course, we've dealt with people that lie.
Yes.
And, not saying that we hang out with liars, but it's like whenever you
run
run
into 'em
into
every
a liar, you
You run
get
into
one
'em
side of the
every
story and then you get another side of the story. And it's like, so which is it? Tell me the truth of what's going on. The problem with the quack is that he hasn't told the truth and
No.
never will tell the truth.
And the problem also with him is that going to screenshot number 2, he goes on these podcasts of these left-wing idiots like the former daughter or the daughter. I said former daughter. Maybe
Maybe it might be the former daughter of the
I hope Bill and they went on a boat and went away. You know how I feel about her mother.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know why she has a podcast. It makes me feel like I need more podcasts because
Yeah, you and I might need to maybe extend our branch out here. I don't know, John. I don't know, but it's like, yeah.
for this
Fauci,
idiot,
this is just unbelievable. Fauci tells Chelsea Clinton phenomenal amount of hostility I face is astounding. That's why I was crying, and I'm,
yes.
still
Oh, okay. So
throw this to you.
This actually helps a little bit. This article, I didn't even realize that. So he was the White House chief coronavirus
Mm-hmm.
advisor. So he wasn't the head of the NIH.
Yep.
He literally was given a job to do one thing, the coronavirus.
Yeah.
He couldn't do that.
Where did it come from? How do we defeat it? That's to me what the chief coronavirus advisor should tell you what to do.
Makes sense.
What do we do? Where did it come from? How do we stop it? And I mean, you go into that New York, the Breitbart article, John. I mean, it's astounding to me that he's whining and moaning and complaining.
Complaining that what we are doing as media, and what the media is doing, and what people are doing,
Yeah.
we're calling him out on his bull crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't.
Because it's like when you see things that you shouldn't wear a mask, then you go and you change your mind and you say, well, you should wear a mask. Then, after you get the vaccine shot, you have to wear not one, but two masks to prevent it.
That's where the ridiculous came in. Like,
Yeah.
the dude is talking out his wazoo at
Yeah.
this point. Like, he got to the like his first lie was and always will be, don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Not saying that masks help. I don't even know. Like, the Swiss
Yeah.
Party research says it doesn't. Stanford says it doesn't. There's
Swiss
a
policy research says it doesn't.
that we've read that say they don't work.
Yeah.
But my problem, and we'll get into media all day today. My problem with what he did is he put a stone down in the ground.
Yeah.
And called that the 1 yard line. And then ran to the 100-yard line and put a different stone and said, well, we're changing what we just said.
All the while saying that science changes, it's dynamic.
Yeah,
And
well, science is philosophy. I get that. Okay? Like, I get that science changes. But what you're not supposed to do in science, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're not supposed to throw a dagger in the ground and say, this is the way it's supposed to be. Oh, science changes.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
It's subjective.
Yeah.
I know I'm smart enough to know that science is subjective. Don't feed me bullshit and then change your bullshit. That's my problem with him.
Exactly. Don't keep changing the goalposts, because that's exactly what he was doing throughout all of this.
I totally understand that science is subjective.
Now, that kind of brings up a tangent question that I wanted to ask you. Who do you think came up with that 14-day slow the spread nonsense?
Well, it's marketing 101. Walmart?
Do you think, well, no, do you,
It's
well, no,
marketing
it came
101.
from the government. Do you
Yeah, but
think
that's
that
not-
was Fauci?
Probably, because it's marketing 101. Why? It's an even number.
Yeah.
It's got a nice slogan.
We've got to calm the American people down.
How about we don't know what's gonna happen? Let's slow down
Yeah.
until we figure this out.
Until then, keep eating right, keep exercising, keep doing the things that you know what to do.
It was a setup with just like 14 days to solve. Are you kidding me? It's been a year.
Yeah. That blew up in everyone's face. And but if you're the chief, that's my point. If you're the chief coronavirus advisor, which was under the Trump administration, and Trump asked, what do we do to stop this? Do you think he probably well, Mr. President, I think what we ought to do is slow the spread down by 14 days. Get everybody isolated away from everybody for 14 days, and then we'll reassess what's happening.
But they never reassessed.
But they never reassessed.
That's my point. Like, and Trump needs to take his lumps on this too. Like,
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Yeah.
We're never gonna side with a party. Like, when understanding the stupidity of this is why did Pennsylvania just pass a law that says that? Explain the law, because I forget it, but
it's like 90 days. Yeah, it was 90 days, with a state of emergency, and they reduced it down to 21.
So it's 21 days. Okay. So it's 21 days to slow the spread. Technically.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be reassessed by.
But that's the key. It's reassess what's happening on the ground to figure out what's actually happening, and then figure out what to do.
That's what he never did, and that's why.
And that's what he never did.
That's why he's a part of this Fab Five segment that we do every week of criminal behavior. We don't even need the Fab Five. Like Wolf and Cuomo are like, man, fuck, thank, we're not getting talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Fauci's an idiot. Like, I'm hiding behind him.
But again, it's like, this guy's the chief medical officer of the president of the United States, and I would not go to him for a common cold.
Yeah, and makes more money.
And makes more money than the president. It's like, I'm sorry, Dr. Fauci, can I just, I'll just leave it like this.
Exponentially more money than all of us they're doing this or listening to this. He makes exponentially more money than the president and all of us, and he's an idiot.
Yeah,
that's like all I have to say.
I know, John. To me, it's like, dude, all you had to do was have integrity with what you did.
Yeah.
Own up to your mistakes. Realize what you did was wrong,
Speaking
And
integrity,
the problem too with him, the constant media change, the constant media appearances, I should say,
he made
the
a ton
multiple
of.
media appearances everywhere, and he had his fan base, and he didn't have his fan base. He
And
didn't
he
go
still
on.
has his fan. The funny, he still has a fan base.
Yeah.
I've seen some actually funny things on things that I've posted
Hmm.
that weren't even negative towards him, just things that he said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've literally had people, no joke, literal people that I know go, well, Trump was the reason that he couldn't do his job.
I don't get that at
I
all.
had to move on from that because, like, one
At
individual,
that
like,
point, it's kind of like, well,
it's not my boss's fault that I suck at my job. You
exactly.
know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
how I feel about life. Like I'm not like I don't have phone conversations with my boss being like, "Well, you didn't let me because I didn't show up on Tuesday."
Exactly.
Like
Doesn't work that way. Doesn't
it's
work that
not
way.
how the world works.
exactly. You have to own up to your own mistakes, failings,
And he made tons of them.
and he made tons of them.
Yes.
And he affected so many people's lives in a negative fashion. Again, go
And
back
that's
to legacy.
and that's why he's on our radar
Yeah.
because we don't like corruption and criminal behavior. That's
Yeah.
why you're on our radar. Like you, a Two Noobs episode does not. We're not. We have a happy segment at the end just because we don't want to be completely negative. But
Yeah.
most of what we're doing is digging into stupid people doing stupid things.
Yeah,
What we
exactly.
do.
And parroting them and making fun of them. But yeah.
Exactly. That's like you gotta make light of most of it.
exactly.
Well, it's
Exactly.
tough.
Right.
You gotta have a smile or at
Yeah,
least
other than that, it's
people
going to be
don't
like, oh my
bullshit.
gosh. But speaking of, I mean, this is going to be, it's
It-
funny. I was looking back at some of the old episodes, John, and we debuted with this guy at the
Yes.
very first segment of Two Noobs way back in
And
October.
by the way, this article literally references his laptop, which cracks me.
Just absolutely
It
hilarious.
cracks me up.
So let's throw it up there, and we'll talk about it with for our audio listeners. Hunter Biden, New York Post. Hunter Biden repeatedly called his white lawyer the N-word. Texts show. First son. I believe he's the first son of the United States, John.
It just has to be highlighted because it's so ridiculous.
First son Hunter Biden repeatedly called his white attorney the N-word in a pair of bizarre and occasionally lewd text conversations late in 2018 and early 2019, according to new anonymous messages.
We know from Hunter Biden that most of his activity is bizarre and lewd. Like that's pretty much Hunter Biden's life is
Yeah.
bizarre and lewd. That's what he does.
Yeah.
My one point to like the N-word doesn't shock me at all because you could just search Joe Biden on the internet.
Yeah.
That dude used the N-word more in his entire time in the Senate than most rappers do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he likes to fly that word all over the place.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah, he likes to talk about unity, but he definitely uses that word that I don't want to use.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
I'll just read briefly from this article since you have it up here, Johnny. In an exchange on December 13th, 2018, taken from Hunter's abandoned laptop.
Abandoned again.
Yeah, in Delaware that they found somewhere.
He smokes Parmesan and he loses his laptop.
Yeah, exactly. The younger Biden asked Chicago-based corporate attorney George Masiris, quote, "How much money do I owe you?" before adding, "Because the N-word.
Yep.
You better not be charging me Hennessy rates." End quote. "That made me snarf my coffee," replied Masiris, who is white. I just made that phrase up, by the way, Biden responded, adding,
too.
"I should have had your lineage." "Apparently you do," answered Masiris before Biden responded, "That's what I'm saying, N-word."
Wow. What a fuck.
Lost soul right
here.
here.
Scumbag.
Yeah.
What an absolute scumbag. What an absolute scumbag that dude is.
Lost soul. I mean, it's just like, I don't think, it's hard to speculate, and I don't want to, and I shouldn't. It makes me wonder, though, if he's ever gotten over Beau. Because Beau Biden died tragically in I think it was an automobile accident. and they were brothers.
I don't know much. Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
I know that the Biden family is a weird family.
Oh, it is.
If you
Yeah.
even slowly dive deep, his daughter, Joe's daughter came out with a diary,
Mm. Mhm.
saying that there were nice things that happened to her in that family. That family is the problem is that family is a lot of what America is,
Mm.
and that's terrible.
Yeah.
The secrets and the lying and the
Yeah.
like you can
And
unearth
who knows
like
what happened? What else is in those?
I exactly. I've said this a million times. Like Hunter's like the easiest target. That's why the right targets him.
Mm.
He's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, he is a piece of shit.
When,
Like
yeah.
he come nowhere near my fucking family. Like
No.
he is a piece of garbage.
Well, and that's the thing.
But
Go ahead.
what the right likes to do is unearth dumb shit that and I'll give this quote. I say this quote on the podcast all the time. What did Barack Obama say about Joe? If you
Yeah.
want something fucked up, give it to Joe.
Give it to Joe.
The apple doesn't
Yeah.
fall
Apple
that
doesn't
far from
fall
the
far
tree.
from the tree for sure.
Like
But
I'm
you know,
not
it's
like
like if
at
any.
least the one
But
thing Hunter is, at least he's fucking honest about being a piece of shit.
yeah. Yeah.
Joe's not.
No.
That's what I like about Joe. At least Hunter knows he's a piece of shit
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
will readily admit that he's a piece of shit.
But I mean, and of course, like part of me, the big part of me, of course, of my faith, John, is like, here's a guy who's lost, and it's like, he's going to get further lost as
Yeah.
he continues to live his life if he doesn't make drastic changes. And it's like I just wish, and this is where my friends on the right, they poke fun at him rather than trying to reach out to the guy and help him, because that's
But
clearly what he needs is help.
there's also you get to a certain part of life where
Hmm.
you can't be helped.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
And
get that. Yeah.
I think Hunter's done some dirt,
Yeah.
as we're gonna learn throughout this laptop, this abandoned laptop that keeps
Laptop.
resurfacing and resurfacing and resurfacing. I don't think he's gonna be a choir boy anytime soon. I think
No.
he's a bad human being. But like I said, like I'd rather hope for Hunter's soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learned it from somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Virtue signaling that Joe Biden's an asshole. If you know me well enough, you know
Yeah.
what I think about Joe Biden.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, and of course, like I mean, I've made no bones about my dislike of Joe Biden for years. I remember back even when he was a senator of Delaware back in the 80s and 90s. I thought he was a piece of trash, and it was just like all you had to do was, he would tell you he's the smartest guy in the room. Just ask him
Yeah, and
because of his arrogance. And it's just
just
like, dude, I could debate you and just pin you down to a corner if I wanted
just
to.
YouTube him right now. All you got to do is
Yeah.
just open up YouTube Joe Biden N word. You see all you need to know about that dude.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
And this is a guy who's trying to like unify the country, and it's like
We were thinking about playing one of them, but I don't want to put that kind of hate
no.
on here.
I mean, there's no question. There's a divisiveness there, and
Mhm.
there's a hatred there, and I don't know what else to say of that other than what I see
No,
and what I've heard over the years with Joe and
I'm
Hunter.
glad it's coming out, and I'm glad we get to speak about it. To be honest, like
Yeah,
it's a scummy family.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
very similar to Cuomo, but
yeah, it's very similar.
but here's the thing, though,
How
John.
does Mario Cuomo turn out to be the best Cuomo?
That's the thing. That's the
It
thing.
makes no sense.
The Cuomo family, I think, has lapped the Biden family by far. It's like,
Probably close cousins.
yeah, they're not far. They're not far related. That's for sure.
Newsom's right in there with them.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right, let's move on
But
to this. Let's move
let's,
on to this good news, bad news. Let's talk
yeah,
about
because
race.
this I think is going to be a real good discussion, Johnny. I think this has been kind of flying, not necessarily under our radars, but it certainly has.
We've been watching it.
We've been watching it.
Off-air conversations about critical race theory, about Texas, the state that I live in.
Yep.
Florida, North Carolina being the newest one. I think Arkansas
Hmm.
and Oklahoma
Yep.
and Mississippi all
I think
I
there's
think
also
I'm
an
right.
Idaho out
If
there
not, they
somewhere.
are going to
Yeah,
ban critical race theory.
I think
Um,
Idaho as well, Johnny. Yeah.
yes, yes, you're absolutely right.
Hmm.
Idaho is another one. I hope everybody does.
This is
Um,
huge. Yeah.
not because like I didn't understand critical race theory until I talked to a couple people about it.
Hmm.
I really didn't understand. I knew of a Harvard study, and I knew that race was kind of it was a big thing, and I like to be up on what what the intellectuals are talking about.
Hmm.
So when I dove into critical race theory, I don't like it.
No,
I don't think it's good for children at all. I think it's bad for
no,
children.
I would agree.
That's how I feel about it. So seeing North Carolina, you know,
This is huge. Let's just read it. Right. Oh, you got rid of it,
that's
but that's
really
okay.
good. Yeah, I just
But
want to
yeah,
get rid of that
it
so we
was a
can.
unanimous. Yeah, with
Yeah,
that Breitbart article, just briefly talking for our audio listeners, it was just basically saying that I think it was Brunswick County in North Carolina
Brunswick County
unanimously
yeah.
100% voted not to have this theory taught in their classrooms, which to me is I couldn't agree with you more, John. I have been watching CRT really from the outside looking in, particularly in the evangelical Christian community. It is really a hot button topic right now. It's been trying to be infiltrated in the churches across
Yeah.
the country as well.
I think it's being infiltrated everywhere, and it's
And it's a
not
piece of trash.
yeah, it's not a good theory because what it's doing is it accident it the theory in its own makes sense. It makes sense to the concept of a utopia.
But
We
that's the
don't
problem.
live in a utopia.
Exactly.
But it that the theory in itself works in a utopia. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying like, yeah, you're right. It is a piece of trash in the human world where we
Hmm.
actually have to deal with people.
Hmm.
Um, in a utopia, it absolutely works. Learning about like Matt and John have all this time in the world, where we get paid $100 an hour and we don't have to do any work because
Hmm.
that's the utopia in which everybody wants, right? You want to get
Hmm.
paid $100 an hour to do nothing, and you can go on these long vacations, and I can go to Ethiopia, and I
Hmm.
can go to Spain, and I can learn about all these cultures, and I can respect all these cultures, and I can do that. Well, I can't do that if I don't do that.
Hmm.
I can't theorize that in my brain
Exactly.
because I don't live that. That's
Yeah.
my problem with it.
I totally agree. To me, it's like, I think it was a point a couple weeks ago. It's like part of it makes the American culture really good is that you have individual cultures kind of just
Yeah.
pumping through, you know, into the entire society writ
Learning
large.
about the cultures,
Oh yeah,
eating
exactly. And
food.
our idea of
Yes.
Asian fusion food and all that kind of stuff, where you have, or you're Caribbean with Indian food, kind of mixing them in. It's like, oh my gosh, this must,
But, yeah, but
but it's a
that's
great way to kind of just pulse through it. This CRT, the moment what that does is that it basically just isolates everybody off into their own individual culture and then points to one over here and says, this culture right over here is inherently racist because they've had the power for X number of years in the country. And therefore, they need to repair all of these issues. And there's nothing that they can do other than being an anti racist to rectify themselves in the eyes of the broader community.
yeah.
That is a bunch of horseshit trash. It really is. There is
It doesn't
nothing
make any
much more
sense.
to say to that.
It doesn't really make any sense.
No,
Like
no.
in reality, it doesn't make any sense because like unity is bringing everybody together. It's melding
Mm-hmm.
all races together. It's the hybrid theory. I
Yeah.
thought that happens at some time. Like the hybrid
There's
theory.
even something that's even greater that, hybrid theory is definitely talked about in the Bible for crying out
Yes.
loud. But yeah,
It's
you're right. I mean, it's
the
like
way
you
it
want
should
to,
be.
yeah. And it's not that we don't want to say that we're colorblind. That's not the idea. The idea is,
Not at all.
we want to have all kinds of discussions, all kinds of people, regardless of what their backgrounds are,
Yeah, no,
regardless of what they look like. Everybody wants that. And no one wants to be mistreated. No one wants to be pulled over on the side
I,
of the road.
I think that's legitimately the way we achieve unity is coming together.
Yeah.
I hope, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I hope my friends, whatever color they are. I
Mm-hmm.
hope they think of me as a good person.
Yeah.
And I
Maybe
hope I
not,
do the same
not
thing.
perfect, not
Yeah,
perfect, but
nobody's
good.
perfect.
Yeah, but good, genuinely good. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and that's the. I mean, I think what CRT tries to do is that it forces a value system upon you that basically says you have no place to go. It's almost like when you try and engage in a debate with someone that believes in CRT, you're already in a checkmate position. You can't
Understood. Yeah,
advance
understood. Yeah, exactly. Because
your
you don't.
thought process on them.
Yeah, because you're wrong because you're here.
Yeah, because of the
That's
color of my
racism
skin,
in
which
its.
is so ridiculous.
But that's literally racism as itself, and I don't think I would ever do that to anybody else. So I don't think I agree with a theory that would do that to one race, no matter what race it was.
Yeah.
If you took critical race theory and put it against every race, I don't
Yeah.
think any race would be comfortable with it. I
Absolutely.
mean, I get it. Like shitty things did happen in this country. Like
Hmm.
I'm, I'm willing to, I'm willing to have that conversation.
I can remember years ago, maybe not years ago, but it was easily 6, 7 months ago. It was so funny, John. I got into a debate on a YouTube channel where it was about it was John MacArthur talking about social justice, critical race theory, whatever the case may be. And this heated discussion, I kind of brought up, well, yeah, we've kind of gone through this. We fought a war for 4 years in this country.
Yeah.
And there are markers, if you look everywhere in the South and even in
Oh
Gettysburg,
yeah.
Pennsylvania, where it's like you see the
Absolutely. There
markings,
are
right?
markers. Yeah.
And it's there. I mean, we fought a bitter war, and fortunately, and I will say this, very fortunately, the right side won.
Agreed.
Because had it not,
Could
we
you
would have a
imagine?
huge issue on our
Could you
hands.
imagine if the Confederates won? It'd be a whole different world.
It would be a whole different world.
But
Then all of
but
a
let
sudden, you would have a founding document.
Yep.
Because I hear this all the time. CRT says, well, the founding documents are trash because they're racist. Nobody writes, if they're racist, they don't write all men are created equal.
Well, they did have to change that because they originally created it all white men and then they changed it. But at least
Fair
they
enough, but the
but at
document
least they
says
changed
all
it.
men are created equal,
Yeah.
does it not? That's my point. You don't write that out.
Well, that's my whole point of yes, like there are errors in our ways throughout the time. That's the point I wanted to bring up when I said that. Yes, did we do it right? I'm not saying we as a nation, not
Hmm.
we as white people, because
Hmm.
that would be weird.
Yeah.
Um, but we as a nation, no, we didn't do anything right.
No.
We tripped and fumbled and we made our corrections when we needed to.
Yep. We got tripped up. We fell down. We had to
Yeah,
pick ourselves back up again.
yeah, exactly. It's like life. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's like the 1619 theory. Also,
Yeah.
that thing,
That's also a piece of trash.
that's a hot piece of shit. I fucking hate that thing. It makes no sense to me. I'm like,
No.
well, then we shouldn't be.
Well, and that's the thing too. Even if you think back to like 1619, let's just take the argument for the word of it, 1619. Oh, so slavery was invented in 1619. I got news for you. Slavery was
It wasn't.
way past 1619.
Yeah, why don't we just go to Egypt? We can talk about their history. Far before America was even
Oh,
big.
yeah.
Egypt had slavery.
Can we also bring up sex trafficking? That's another
Yeah,
form of slavery.
yeah. Which still doesn't.
And
It's
that
still
seems to
not
like
fixed
no one
today.
talks about that. No one talks about something like that, but that's a form of
Yeah,
slavery
yeah, absolutely, and it still happens today.
that still happens
And everybody
today.
wants to turn their blind eye.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
But what they want to do is they want to get in these bullshit liberal and conservative talking points, and they want to talk about 1619, and they want to talk about critical race theory, and they want to talk about whatever other bullshit they're talking about. I don't know. I'm like Rage Against Machine like 2.0 at this point. Like I don't.
Exactly.
If you got a theory, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Like the theory better have some meat behind the potatoes here, but it's like if it's like
you
nothing
better be
there.
like it took Beethoven a very long time to write the symphony. This is like the theme of this episode. You know what you need to do if you're gonna bring a theory to me? You better be in the fucking basement for a while. I
Oh
want
yeah.
I want research.
Yeah.
Like Bill Maher does nothing for me. He's
Yeah.
a toucan idiot.
Yeah.
Neither does Bongino. I'm not going to call him an idiot. I think he's an extremely smart man. But now you took over for Rush, man. You're 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 long winded at this point, bro. Slow down.
Bar's got to be
Like,
high. Yeah, got to be high.
exactly,
But speaking of
exactly.
what you had said, because I think you had a really, really good point to bring up with a Daily Wire article, because we're talking about, the conservative
Oh
media.
yeah, we're totally going for this right now. So I'm
Because I
gonna.
want you to leave the first screenshot up here, John, for us, and I'm going to just read this to our audio listeners. The Daily Wire has this. We have this in our show notes.
This is not Matt saying this. This is quoting.
This
Just
is right off the headline. Black mom torches critical race theory. It's racist. It's teaching hate will destroy America. Okay. Big time problem with this. And
that's
it's with the
literally the
first
headline.
word of that article. And John and I, John, we've had that discussion in pre production, right? And even on the road, as I was going to the parents for dinner last night,
Mhm.
you had a problem with the fact that this was bringing up a racist trope. And I kept thinking, I could see the point. Because the Daily Wire is conservative.
Yes.
And the liberal narrative is all conservatives are racist. No
Yes.
matter what the case may be, all conservatives are racist. So the Daily Wire, I think, wrote this headline to basically counter a CNN, an MSNBC, or whatever the case may be, in saying, hey, look, this black mother over here is saying critical race theory is terrible. It's racist, it's teaching hate, will destroy America from within, whatever the case may be. That is what the Daily Wire, I think, is contributing to what made you, and I would agree with you, very uncomfortable. Because what really should have happened is, next screenshot, go ahead and show it. Mom torches critical race theory. It's racist, it's teaching hate, will destroy America. You have no idea who the mom is, nor should you, because when you take that first word out, then you read the article. A mother in Florida unloaded on critical race theory during a speech to the Florida Board of Education, warning that the far left ideology was racist, will destroy America if it's not stopped. Keisha King, Duval County parent representing Moms for Liberty, praised school choice, slammed the idea of dividing people on the basis of race 100 years after the Tulsa riots happened. That's another story, by the way. Tulsa riots were
Oh,
horrible
absolutely,
back in the 90s.
absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But this is the reason this is not sourced. Well, it is sourced, but it's not sourced. Read the actual source.
Mhm.
This is what the article should have read.
Yeah. So speak on that. Like, talk to us. Like, talk
This
to me about
this
that.
this makes the point.
Yeah.
It makes me want to read it.
Yeah.
What the original one did makes me not want to read it because it's
Yeah.
written by an idiot.
Yep.
Why are you writing? Why do I have to change? Why do I have to change this? Why does it have to? Why do you need? Are you so insecure in your white ass life that you have to put black mom torches
Mm-hmm.
critical race theory because you can't stand on your own 2 feet?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm like. Critical race theory is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I can say that as a white person. I don't give a flying fuck what people think about that. I don't understand why this media narrative has to be so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is her being black have anything to do that she's fucking intelligent?
Yeah.
I don't get it. She's fucking smart. She wrote that she said this. She's
Yeah.
smart.
She's standing up in front of the Duval County
It
Board of
makes
Education and saying, hey,
no
look, this is
fuck-
stupid.
race doesn't make any sense when you put it in these fucking contexts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That literally is like, if you want to be extra racist, let's just be like LeBron James, the black basketball player, scored 39 points. You wouldn't do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's what they do. And like, it's so dumb.
Yeah. It does not.
It's
And I
so
think
dumb.
the point, too, and I'm so glad you brought that up as we were texting back and forth, Johnny, last night. I think that was such a great conversation we had and we're sharing right now. Really, the fact that the media just kind of just feeds into that whole CRT monster.
Yeah,
Really, the monster is probably about no less than a foot tall. I mean, it's like
I just want to
you could
divide.
drop kick it into the ocean and just say this is a bunch of holes. There's nothing wrong, with
Yeah, being different. There's
being
no
different.
at all. with
Yeah,
being different. Like, I don't understand.
because the argument is good
My
on
head
the
hurts
mom
at
to
this point
stand
with that.
up and say, you know what, this isn't working. I'm sorry. I'm not going to buy into this for my kids. My kids need an education. Thank you very much. They need to learn how to function and get when they get out on their own and they encounter, they don't need this in their mind,
No,
their
no,
brain.
it's just wrong.
You know, I had that in pre-production to bring this up, John. You know, I was walking around my property here in the condo community, and I'm walking by, and there's this postal worker that's walking up, and she's about ready to go in, and she's African American. And my mindset wasn't waved hi to her, but my mindset was, I hope she doesn't think of me as a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not, that is what CRT does.
Yeah, that's
It
literally
puts
what it
doubt
does.
in your mind.
Yeah. And then you're never gonna be friends with, you're never gonna wave hi.
Yeah. It
It,
shuts you off. And it's like, I had to stop myself to think, like, why am I thinking that way?
because
It's so
you
dumb.
shouldn't be thinking that way. That's your mailman. You should, or mail woman, whatever, however she wants it to be said. It doesn't matter. It's her choice, not ours.
Yeah.
Um, pronouns are what they are. You know what I mean? Like, if you
Yeah.
want to, just let me know. I'll call you it. Uh, I have no problem with calling Caitlyn Jenner she. It doesn't. He said that, she said that, it needs to be. Cool, gotcha. I'm all on board.
Yeah.
Programmed. Let's go. Let's move forward. Like, I'm not trying to make life hard,
Yeah.
but
But
that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
like, the whole point of the CRT, though, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, it's such trash.
It's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of
It's
bullshit.
trash. There's nothing, because it puts you in a different mindset that you really shouldn't be put into a mindset to really
Absolutely.
even entertain.
Absolutely. Let's move on to this article. We had to do this because this is like laughter for me.
Yeah, this kind of
So
leads into the
I
happy segment.
literally, I woke up the other day and I literally read this article to my wife early in the morning. I was like, holy crap, this happened.
Yeah.
And then I wake
Exactly.
up today and we'll explain why.
A real life Jonah. Well, we'll get to that.
Yes.
Lobster diver. This is New York Post. Lobster diver says he was swallowed by humpback whale near Cape Cod. This is not a Babylon Bee. This ran in the New York
No,
Post.
this ran in the New York Post.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was real.
Commercial lobster diver Michael Packard was going about his business off the coast of Provincetown, Massachusetts, when he was swallowed whole by a humpback whale. Interesting. Trapped in its gullet for nearly a minute before being coughed back up by the whale. Packard, 56, was about 35 feet below the surface near Herring Coast Beach at 8 a.m. Friday when the massive mammal tried to turn him into breakfast. All of a sudden, I felt this huge shove, and the next thing I knew, I was completely black. Packard told the outlet, I could sense I was moving, and I could feel the whale squeezing with the muscles in his mouth.
Okay.
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 Real life Jonah here,
Yeah,
pretty
so
much.
like homie got swallowed by a whale. Get it? Okay,
Got it.
right? Totally, totally. But we're gonna flip to this one now.
Let's flip the script here. 24 hours later, same newspaper, New York Post. Cape Cod's lobsterman's whale of a tale sounds fishy, experts say. Something's fishy. At least one doctor at the Cape Cod hospital that treated the lobsterman, who claims he was nearly swallowed by a humpback, expressed skepticism Saturday to the Post about the whale of a tale. He reportedly ascended from a 45-foot depth in 20 to 40 seconds and didn't have any evidence of barotrauma, scoffed the Cape Cod Hospital emergency room doc. A person traumatized by such an encounter should expect more serious injuries, such as hearing loss, because of the sudden change in water pressure from that depth, noted the physician, who did not treat Michael Packard after his brush with the Leviathan. Packard, who was a fisherman, was released from Cape Cod Hospital Friday afternoon, just hours after the incident, miraculously only suffering soft tissue damage and no broken bones or other serious injuries. So this is interesting, John. Did this really happen
Well, this is media.
or not?
I'm sure if you look around to all media stories, all media narratives, you'll see a lot of this. You'll see a lot of corrections or changing of stories. People are chasing so much after the headline at this point that that's what you get, and that's why I want to bring this up. This is a good piece
Mm-hmm.
to explain. Like, I read it, I was like, oh shit, to my wife, dude was swallowed by a whale.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Happy. I want to put that on a podcast. That's awesome. Homie survived. He was swallowed by a whale.
Yeah.
I go to source the article today for the show. I've got 12 articles now saying he was completely full of shit.
Yeah.
That's what the media, we run into this all the time
Yeah.
with stuff when we're trying to source articles.
Particularly in the breaking news, because it's
Yeah.
literally, and you've seen this, of course, over the course of our many years, seen like the breaking news is more important than the actual
Well, the
source.
ticker tape at the ESPN made it famous, and then everybody else stole it.
Yeah.
ESPN made it famous for the NHL and NBA trade deadlines. No
Yep.
joke. That's literally why the ticker tape was created.
Mm-hmm.
It's for NHL and NBA trade deadlines.
Yep.
Because flurry of information that you need to get on a screen quickly. You don't have time to have two people talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Point. You just need to. What's the name? Went to the LA Clippers. Went to the LA Kings. Went to the. You know what I mean? Like boom, boom. You got to
Boom, boom, boom,
bang,
boom,
bang.
boom.
It's got to get bang, bang, bang out. It had like it was the way the media worked.
Yep.
And when politics and news medias like CNN and Fox News and all them took it over, that they started to feel that same bullshit
Yeah.
that sports don't get it right in the first breaking news. How many times have you seen a trade? Eagles trade to the Patriots. It's this guy for this guy with this pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7 hours later, it's like, no, it's for a 7th round pick, not for the guy we said.
Yeah.
And that guy didn't even get traded. Some other guy got traded.
Exactly.
They just go with the first instinct. That's where Twitter is terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because it just, you fire it out.
Yeah. It's only a
And it
matter
doesn't
of just
matter if it's
instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's correct.
Yeah, exactly
Because
right.
we have a very, we have a very small memory span apparently with all the technology.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason that I want to bring that up, because it's just ridiculous. Like that's a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
And
And you have two different sides to
Yeah.
to a story that's not quite filled in, and it's kind of like,
this
well,
dude's literally swallowed by a whale, and then 24 hours
hours
later,
later he's not.
there's
So
no way he was swallowed by a whale.
exactly.
He'd be dead if he was swallowed by a
Yeah,
whale.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
we don't even know if whales spit. So his story might be completely.
Who knows? Who knows? But
I
yeah,
just don't know why. We love the New York Post, but wow, why would you? Thank God they put that out 24 hours later.
oh yeah. Oh
Can you
yeah.
imagine if they ran with that first story.
Oh, MSNBC, I know, would not even run. I mean, it would be like, oh my gosh, that's all about the breaking news. That's the thing. I think you have to watch. I think our message to all of this, again, don't want to speak for you, John, but our message
No,
is
I agree. I agree.
we really just make sure to take the time to gather in all of your information before jumping to a irrational conclusion or any sort of conclusion, really.
Real quick, my one rule of thumb, and a lot of people say this that I follow online, is I look for 5 articles before I move forward with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I need 5 articles from 5 different sources.
Mm-hmm.
Before I even send anything to Matt, 5 articles. There are ideas that I send to Matt. I go 1 article, but before we bring it to the table, I source 5 articles.
We also talk about it as well. We also gather in.
Yeah. Constantly.
Yeah.
So everything gets beaten to death before we even talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's how you need your news now. You can't get your news just on a breaking news concept. You have to beat it to death. Really, like you have to, because we don't know what's true.
Yeah.
We did our first podcast ever about Hunter's laptop.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden Hunter's laptop's popping up now.
Popping up again.
That's
36 weeks later. Who knew, John?
Exactly. Wow. The media is
going on here.
hiding shit.
Exactly.
And I think that's the moral to the story. And let's go into this amazing happy segment.
Oh, please. This is great because this is.
My wife sent this to me. Let's give Amber 100% props for this. She found this, sent this over when she knew we were meeting. This made your heart happy, her heart happy, my heart happy. Everybody was happy when we saw this.
Exactly. So I'll just go ahead and I'll just play it.
Please.
As a prisoner of war veteran, surprises are nothing new for Gene Metcalf.
We got overrun, more or less, and I was taken prisoner.
The flight coming as a happy surprise.
Wow, I won't sleep for a week. Oh man, that is something.
Fellow veterans greeting Gene, saluting in respect as he drove in.
I am really so honored and surprised to see the interest that the people are carrying after all these years.
Okay.
I'm in, but I don't know how I'm going to get out.
You can't get out.
Grounded No More Veteran Flight Lift is a group dedicated to veterans, bringing out memories from years before.
I landed in this. I never used to land in them.
Well, everything from tears to just out and out laughter and glee. Gene, when I took him up, was giggling like a little kid.
And all for no cost.
It's just been such a blessing. I meet my heroes. You know, I meet guys that you can't believe. He's about our 8th or 9th World War II veteran.
I don't think there's words to describe it. The feelings and emotions.
William Pitts, 12 News.
That is awesome. That
was 12 News out of Arizona. I looked up a little bit
that
later
is a
before we went live,
great organization. Hopefully we can pull their website
yeah.
and get it out to people.
There's an amazing air show that happens, John, up in the Reading area. It's really cool. It's like basically back in the 1940s, and they have all kinds of airplanes, and they have like shows and whatever, and like bands that play and all that kind of neat stuff. That kind of reminds me of these guys. It's like products of an era that they stood up to evil and they kicked it right in its ass, and they said, "You are not going to win." And it's just like they're just an amazing generation, and it's only it's just like they're just we stand on the shoulders of giants. There's nothing much more I can really say other than that.
We really it was funny going shopping the other day after I got back. I literally was having a conversation with my wife it was probably the most heartfelt I've been in a while. And I was literally looking at her and I was like, I need to do more. We need to figure out how to do more.
Yeah.
We just can't talk about this. We need to do more.
Yeah.
And this God is good because this gets thrown right in our laps.
It sure does.
And now, you know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, now I know there's better out there. Okay. So now we can move forward. Now we can, these people made this country what it is now. Even the craziness between the left and the right, everybody should be thankful that we could be this crazy because of these people, because we would not be this crazy if it wasn't for these people.
Exactly. Yeah, they were willing to put everything they had to defeating a really horrible person and movement over there in Germany.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Thank God they did. Thank God they did.
And thank God for each and every one of them. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that there are give back stories like this. It's amazing. I haven't figured out how I want to help, but I just know I want to be a part of that before they're all gone.
Best part of that whole clip, Johnny, was to me was when he said, "Yeah, I'm not going to sleep for a week."
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
He got that thrill back.
He got that thrill back. Yeah.
They all deserve that.
Yeah, they sure do.
Everyone deserves that. I was saying this to my wife earlier today too. Everybody deserves to come home, whether it's an arm or a leg. Our technology, our veteran affairs need to get better. Everything needs to get better. Everybody deserves to come home, and everybody needs to be treated properly.
Well said.
And these little things are creating that. We need more of that.
Yeah.
Every veteran should never go unthanked.
Yeah.
It's how I feel. And I'm trying to figure out how to figure.
Yeah.
I'm just one man and I'm just trying.
Yeah.
So that's all I can do.
Building on that heart, Johnny.
Bringing stories like this, invoke some kind of kindness in life.
No doubt. Yeah. And I think that's the best part about that whole generation is like to see the glee and the joy that they have. And, it's amazing. Of course, with my dad, it's like, he's volunteering at VFW posts and all that kind of stuff. There was one in Fort Washington that they basically, it was falling kind of in disrepair, and he was able to help out and kind of rebuild a little bit of the house, really from the ground up. They had problems with the foundation, problems with the propane tanks and whatnot. Beautiful. But he's giving back, and it's like he was able to help these guys out. A lot of these guys in their 80s, they can't go out there and they can't rebuild and all that kind of stuff. And he's bringing, my dad's bringing all kinds of people to help them out.
Yeah,
and it's
like
we
need
their post is just in the best shape that it's been, and that's what it's all about. It's really just giving back. And then when you talk to them,
And if you
tell
can't,
you their stories, if you can get them to tell you a story from
yes.
what they experienced, your mind's blown. You just have no idea.
And by the way, if you can't, just buy them a drink and listen.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't do all that, just be there.
Yeah.
Just don't let them be forgotten.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's the worst thing we could do with the veterans.
Yeah.
And that's even the ones that are coming home now.
Yeah.
Like, because we still have veterans. We still have active military.
No doubt.
Until we don't have active military,
Yeah.
we're gonna have veterans. And
Oh, yeah.
always, just not the D-Day guys. They were the ultimate, like, World War One. You got to remember World War One too.
Yeah.
Got to remember the Korean War.
Korean
You
War
remember
and the Vietnam and
the Persian Gulf, like
Yep.
2 times. The war
Yeah.
in Afghanistan, like these.
Yeah.
It,
And
it just
not to
isn't
mention
one
Bosnia.
day.
Bosnia and all those. Yeah.
How many troops did we lose there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and on, that's why Clinton sucks. The war didn't need to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
bro, if I could sit in 5 minutes with Bill Clinton, I'd be a big nose idiot.
Yeah, oh my
You
gosh.
look like a clown. You look like Krusty the Clown, you moron. I hope.
Terrible.
I
Terrible.
hope you can't sleep at night.
But for that guy that got the chance,
That's yes.
much
and
love to him.
we're
Absolutely.
fighting any
We're
better.
fighting for,
We are
absolutely.
fighting for you, and we are trying, and we are figuring it out.
Hey Johnny, 36 episodes in, man.
Let's do some shameless plugs.
Let's do those shameless plugs, shall we? Let's do it.
Maybe we'll be good at them this time. Let's try.
Knocking on wood over here.
Exactly.
So, socials. Let's fire them off. Where can people find us, man?
All right. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Clapper, and Instagram. Instagram, actually, my personal Instagram has changed to Two Noobs Talking Podcast to make it a little easier to manage these things. You can check us out on Reels, TikToks, and Clapper, which are all like minute videos. We try to cut the best, trying to get it out to you so you don't have to watch the whole YouTube show, which is
where you can find us, of course, on YouTube. Obviously, we have a lot of neat content as well, going all the way back to the start of October. But yeah, we would really love it for you to obviously subscribe to our channel, like and share our videos, get the word out even more. But it doesn't go just on YouTube. We also have our audio side, don't we, Johnny?
Yes. We actually have a really great audio base, which we're happy about. Podcasts are better on audio, to be honest. We do video too because we got cute faces. So no, but on audio we are on Apple, Spotify. Even though I hate it, we're on Spotify and people actually listen to us on Spotify. So I'll pull the Spotify hate back just this week. Next week I hate you, Spotify. I'm coming after you. Google Chrome, Google Podcast, some things I can't pronounce. And thank you to the people that listen in South America.
Yeah. Love you in Brazil.
Yes, exactly. It's Two Noobs Talking 215-512.
There you go. And of course, our show notes are right here in person, but you can also find them online by going to TwoNoobsTalking.wordpress.com. You enter in your email address, and those show notes show up in your inbox the very next day. So, John, episode 36 is in the can.
Like a JoJo 3-throw.
Like a JoJo 3-throw. You got anything final to say, bud?
Matt, don't go down the rabbit hole.
Thanks. I'll try not to. Talk to y'all next week. Take care.